Hello and welcome to part 3 of Sean's DVD collection. Today we will be looking at a couple of DVDs I got over the past year. So for part 3, we'll begin with Stanley Kubrick's A Clockwork Orange. This is the 40th anniversary edition, Blu-ray digipack, sold, I think it's an exclusive in America. So you can only get this in like America. And this is a very, I think it's one of my favourite Kubrick movies. Because it is a film that, really questions choice. It is a British classic. It's what made Malcolm McDowell a household name. And probably stereotyped as a villain. Anyways, here's a... at the back, a picture of the Droogs walking off into the distance, and we have and it's more of like a digibook here. So, for example, we have the disc in the front, and then we got like a load of stuff here about some factoids and some pictures, and it has like some telling you about the autobiographies of like many of the actors and stuff. But it also has like another disc here, 2 documentaries, Stanley Kubrick: A Life in Pictures, which is sort of a 2.5-hour documentary narrated by Tom Cruise about Stanley Kubrick, and Oh Lucky Malcolm, which is sort of a career retrospective on Malcolm McDowell. This is practically a very inspiring film, and I hear The Simpsons are even going to parody it on their latest Treehouse of Horrors episode, and I'd really like to see this because this is like one of my favourite films. And it's a film that really makes you question like choice and free will and the right to like make choice. And it is just for example, I get chills every time I watch the scene where Malcolm McDowell breaks into the writer's house and he is crippling him and raping his wife to the tune of Singing in the Rain. It's both funny and creepy at the same time. But still, this is a very, very good film, and it's one of Kubrick's best. And plus, and I also imported it like the good old days when this movie was banned because it caused too much controversy and many people turned to violence because of it. And speaking of home invasions, my next one is Law-Abiding Citizen, which began with a home invasion. So, this is basically about Gerard Butler, whose house gets broken into. They kill his wife, and the robbers kill his wife and his daughter, and he sort of goes to Jamie Foxx's character, but Jamie Foxx, he's one of those guys that has a high conviction rate, and he doesn't he'll make deals or something, but he kind of sort of one will rat against the other just to get a better, a reduced sentence. But this is actually, basically Gerard Butler, gets revenge on, the people that sort of failed to, do something in the case. And this is actually a pretty good film. For example, when I bought this and I tried it in my player to see if it works, I only sort of intended to try it by one scene, but once it began, I just couldn't stop watching it. It is a good film. Gerard Butler is running circles around Jamie Foxx. He is the better actor. He's what drives this film. Also, he was one of the producers on it. But still, very good film. It's sort of, it's in a way like Cape Fear or anything like that, but still very good film. And next one I have is a musical, and it's Summer Holiday with Cliff Richard. Yes. And, it's still a very good musical. Everyone knows, we're all going on a summer holiday. Yes, I sung it fast so they don't sue me. So, but still, this is very inspiring film. It's very catchy. Some of the songs, Summer Holiday, Take You for a Ride, 7 Days to a Holiday. It's still interesting film, very good. Very good musical, very nostalgic. And the next one I have is Rush, with Chris Hemsworth and Daniel Bruhl. It's Ron Howard's Rush, about James Hunt, the rivalry between Formula One racers James Hunt and Niki Lauda. Which is, so, there we go, that's the disc. Anyways, this is a very good film, and Daniel Bruhl does do a very good performance in this, and so does Chris Hemsworth, and really, Daniel Bruhl was like this close to getting nominated for an Oscar. I mean, he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor at both the Golden Globes and the BAFTAs, but still, very good film. Loved it. Racing isn't really my thing, but this was actually, people have been like saying things about this, so I thought I'd go see it, and it is very good. Ron Howard is a good director. Next one I have is Shakespeare in Love. It was on IMDb's top 250 list, so I thought I'd pick it up. Also, it won Best Picture. I'm trying to get all the Best Picture winners. Try to watch all the Best Picture winners. And this is about, William Shakespeare falling in love with this woman who is actually, like, sort of disguising herself as a man to get into, like, this play. Like, it's sort of how he came to write Romeo and Juliet. This is a very touching love story, and it's about theatre, which is something I'm actually trying to, get into as a career, filmmaking and theatre. So, anyways, also, last summer I was on holiday in Tenerife, and there was a local charity shop that would sell all these DVDs. I think some of them were British, and some of them were Spanish, and some of them were bootleg. But, anyways, this is, first one I got was Jerry Maguire. Very good film. Very inspiring performance from Cuba Gooding Jr. And everyone knows the line, "You complete me." It was in there. Even though I came to know it because Heath Ledger said it in The Dark Knight. Anyways, here is the, the cover is a bit, it won't even stay in there. It'll keep sliding out. But this is still a good film. It's about a sports agent. Everyone knows, show me the money. Still, great film. Tom Cruise is brilliant in this. Next one I have is, this is a bootleg disc, but the movie is 10 years old. So, at least let me go on this one. It's The Aviator. Martin Scorsese, Leonardo DiCaprio. It's the second film together about Howard Hughes, and it's very, an interesting film, and it's got all these people like Alec Baldwin, John C. Reilly, Gwen Stefani, Jude Law. This is, he's like sort of one of the pioneers. He's also a filmmaker, and he was also this aviation empire. It's just inspiring, his story. So, and the fact that he had to deal with like OCD and sort of, he was a germaphobe. This is some of these things that he had to conquer. And yet the Academy never gave him an Oscar for it, really. Why'd you hate Leonardo DiCaprio, Academy? Well, you didn't even give him one for Wolf of Wall Street. I can understand Matthew McConaughey, but still, DiCaprio was better. At least give him something. And the next one I have is LA Confidential, starring Kevin Spacey, Kim Basinger, and Russell Crowe. This is actually a pretty good, it's a decent film. It's good for noir. It is a good noir film. It's about basically a group of these people try to sort of take down this guy, and it's, yeah, well, anyways, here's the DVD. I'm holding it because it's, as you can see here, it is broken, which means it's easily to slide out. So, Kevin Spacey does do a good performance. Russell Crowe, Guy Pearce, Kim Basinger, who won the Oscar for this. And it's, about, like, sort of these cops try to take down a guy, but very decent film. Next one I have is Jim Carrey in Man on the Moon. Jim Carrey, who does an amazing performance as Andy Kaufman. You don't even see that it's Jim Carrey. Still, why aren't you giving him an Oscar? I mean, you cheated him out of a nomination for The Truman Show, and yet he won a Golden Globe for this. But still, this is about his life and how, he died. This basically ends with him dying of cancer. It's not a spoiler, it happened in real life, but this is a very good film, which, by the way, it's also a Region 1 disc, but it still played in my player. Jerry Maguire was a Spanish disc, but, it played, and it also had an English language track, but this is actually pretty good. It's from Milos Forman, the bloke that did One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and Amadeus. This is a chapter list. This is the disc here. Yeah, so there's a couple things here. Still, Jim Carrey is practically one of my favourite actors and one of my favourite comedians. He is a very good actor. Check it out. Alright, next one I have here is Red States. Kevin Smith. Directed by Kevin Smith, and it's basically about these three boys who, from, like, the South, and they meet this woman on the internet, and they go down to sort of, have it on with her, and they wind up getting drugged and kidnapped, and sort of, they wind up getting kidnapped by this God-fearing priest who's like really too religious, and he's like killing and crucifying people. But still, this is a pretty scary film, and it is like everyone's like on their A game to this. Not to mention, this also has Skylar from Breaking Bad. Yeah, so very good horror film. You won't really expect that from Kevin Smith. He usually directs comedies. The next one I have is Fantastic Mr. Fox, starring George Clooney, who just got married yesterday. So congrats, George Clooney. Hope she takes care of you and stuff. Anyways, this is from Wes Anderson, who recently directed The Grand Budapest Hotel. Good film. But this is very good. I am a fan of Roald Dahl's books, and this is animated pretty well, and I even like the inclusion of letter dance by the Bobby Fuller 4 during the end credits. So you should check this out. It is actually kind of a good film. The animation is pretty well. So, anyways, that's stay tuned for part 4.